Hello everyone, I Radhika Khurana welcome you to yet another episode of Lawyer Speaks presented to you by Law Community, wherein we invite brilliant minds of legal fraternity so that we get to peek into their lives and get to know their story. And today we have with us Advocate Gitika Khanchandani, founder and principal attorney, GNK Legal, with over 10 years of extensive practice experience in intellectual property rights. So my first question is, who is your role model and what was your inspiration when you started doing law?
So when I started law, I was kind of in a dilemma because I come from a business background. My father is a first generation business owner, and since childhood, I've been exposed to his line of working. In fact, even during the summer vacations, I would, go to his office and spend some time and just try to learn how the entire show runs. Now, since childhood, I was exposed to business. So, obviously, once I finished my SSC, I was inclined towards commerce because that was the obvious choice that I had. But after pursuing it for 2 years, I realized that business for me personally is a very dry subject. I think it runs on a plateau so far as I have been able to see it. So I took up law by fluke. I just filled in a form and I got selected. And I just took it up. But I think there has been no looking back after it. I am personally very glad that I made a choice because law allows me to work in a field that is completely developing every day, especially the field I practice into IPR. And also, I'm working very closely with a lot of business. So I am somewhere an integral part of their business. So my business skills are also to an extent being used. Um, so far as a role model is concerned, it's very difficult because there are so many seasoned lawyers out there doing such a fabulous work out there that I think I have to pick and learn from everybody out there. Even my junior sometimes has a lot to teach me. If I have to pick someone in my field at present, I think I'll pick up Dr. Tulsaburkar. I mean, I am deeply fond of his skills and how his approach towards the entire subject is. And something that I admire about him is how he's super calm and composed, even in the most stressful of situations in the courtroom. So I think I'll go with Dr. Tulsaburkar for now. Thank you.
Yeah, right. That is one key to success, we can say. Right. So you just mentioned that you belong to a business family and taking commerce was your only like obvious choice when you after your 10th. So how did
Correct.
you develop interest in intellectual property? Like, is it because you've seen a business very closely throughout your childhood or otherwise?
So that was one of the contributing factors that I have seen business, and I knew even if I practice into law, I want to be somewhere where I'm still associated with business. But so I'm personally a very brand cautious person. I understand what an effort, a skill, a marketing and advertising, a branding agency does. When they try to develop a brand, and not just develop, to ensure that the reputation stays throughout the years and members recognize it. So, in my early years of internship, I was fortunate to work with a law firm specializing into intellectual property rights. And over there, I was exposed to a lot of litigation matters pertaining to infringement and passing off. And that is where I understood the critical role um, law plays in a business so far as their branding and patents and copyright is concerned. So that is what helped me decide that I should pursue further in IPR because I can still be a part of brand development and part of a business, but also I'm a sub part of a dynamic subject of law which is always evolving.
This is a very interesting field as well. So, you are founder of GNK Legal. So,
Correct.
what motivated you to start your own company, and what were the challenges faced by you during that process?
So I think from my previous, you can understand that I've always been somewhere inclined to business. That business woman in me has gone nowhere. Maybe she found a different route to do what she wants to do, but I think I've eventually figured out. So I have worked successfully for a very long tenure with a law firm. And, after being in the law firm for a very long time, the next question to me was, what next? what do I do more? That curiosity in me went nowhere. So I either had an option of joining some other firm where I'm doing what I'm doing maybe at a larger scale, or maybe test myself, test whatever I have learned and challenge myself and see that can I make a mark of my own in my field. And that is what made me start G&K Legal, because somewhere I always had a vision of how I want the execution to be done, and what is it that I want to offer to my clients. And I think that could only happen when I have my independent firm. So that is what made me start G&K Legal. Challenges, I would say. So IPR is dominantly a law firm dominated industry. A lot of work over here in the IPR segment is done by large law firms. So for an individual attorney to make a mark in a field like this is a task. But I think if you are persistent, if you are passionate, and if you're honest, I think honesty with your client is of utmost importance. I think you fairly do a good job over here. So I think that is what the only challenge I had was initially developing a clientele, but I think my honesty paid off over there.
So, ma'am, what is your definition of success? Like you just mentioned, like you asked yourself when you were about to start your own company, like what next? So, what is your definition of success, and what next after this?
Definition of success. See, I think I still have a very long way to go before I can call myself as a very successful IPR attorney out there. But I think in the way of getting there, I think my curiosity, I'm a very curious child. So I think, always asking yourself what next, or how you can deliver what you're delivering at in a better way that you are already doing it. How can you connect more to your clients? How can you keep rediscovering yourself? I think that curiosity and passion, if in the right direction, is somewhere that will get me close to success.
So, coming to the current situation, so how has this pandemic affected your work?
Oh, COVID has taught me a lot. So I have not been a tech-friendly person, and COVID has made me realize that it is very important to stay updated with technology. I mean, we lawyers are so used to with those bulky brief files that we underestimate what technology can do. But I think COVID has changed the legal industry as a whole. Now we have virtual hearing, we have summons being served on WhatsApp. So I think COVID is teaching us, you have to be updated, and the world is going to change. I think even post COVID, we will not be going back to the conventional method. I think our productivity has increased tremendously. Um, so far as personally is concerned, I think COVID is asking us to take a step forward and get the departments who are used to working with those big files to move to a digital medium.
So, what you just mentioned about the giving summons over WhatsApp, like Supreme Court has just allowed that you can also issue summons over WhatsApp or any kind of social media. So, what are your views about that? Do you think like it's going to be, you know, affect it affect the whole procedure in any way? Or
See, I think this is going to stay now. This is going to be a way of life where you are expected to serve summons over a WhatsApp or in any other social media platform. But I think this was much required. The age-old, earlier when we had serving, right now, earlier when we used to physically take the court receiver or a court officer, go to the other person's office and serve. Eventually, that developed into serving through registered post, which was again acceptable. And now we are evolving to WhatsApps or emails. I think this is a natural flow that was going to come, be it COVID or non-COVID. I mean, eventually we were going to see this happening.
okay, so what are your views of? You must have heard about the recent U.S. Judgment regarding securing Booking.com, which is a very generic name. So, what are your views about that judgment?
Hmm.
Do you think that securing Booking.com was right because it's a very generic term and it may lead to many um, many questionable arguments in the future?
see, I don't know whether many people are going to debate on it, but I know a lot of people are going to rely on it in the courtroom because a lot of people are going to start seeking shelter in it. So, Booking.com was had been rejected registration on the ground of it being a generic term. However, the court held that the members of public recognize Booking.com as a mark. All right. There is something very similar to that provision in India, which says that even though a mark is descriptive or generic, by way of use, it can acquire distinctiveness, that is, secondary meaning. So, if which clearly means that if the large section of public or people recognize a generic word as a trademark, then the law will do the same. Okay. Uh, a relatable judgment I can find with this is the one for Naukri.com, wherein the Delhi High Court in 2002, if I'm correct, did say that Naukri.com, the defendant had raised an objection saying that it's descriptive and very generic, but the court said no, the mark by way of use has acquired distinctiveness. In fact, even in the year 2017, if I'm correct, a similar objection had came up in a mark called Darzi for a clothing store. And the Delhi High Court again reiterated that a mark which may be generic or common can way by use acquire distinctiveness and secondary meaning. So I clearly don't see an issue with this judgment.
It's a very good answer. Thank you so much for that. Coming back to your life experiences, so have you ever come across any kind of situation in your life where you felt discriminated because of your gender? And if yes, how did you deal with it?
No, absolutely not. I think being a woman has actually helped me, you know, and I think I have an advantage over men more than a disadvantage, because women have an emotional quotient. Women by nature, they nurture, and their emotional quotient is very high. So I am able to understand what my client really expects from me when they approach me, and it's. I think being a woman has always helped me rather than working in disadvantage only. I mean, I'm in all support of women power.
We're really glad to hear that. Okay, so the next question, I'm going to say a few words, and you have to say the first thing that comes to your mind after hearing them.
Okay.
Okay, so virtual hearing.
Here to stay. They are going to be here forever now. And I am glad because that saves us a lot of time of traveling to different cities, different courtrooms. I think it's a way forward and we should focus on it.
Okay, I guess we have already discussed about it. Servicing of summons over social media platform.
Absolutely, yes. See, if we don't evolve, we will not survive. With the times, we have to evolve. So I know a lot of attorneys may face issue, but the way forward is evolve with everything. Change is constant. Just keep moving.
Vocal for local.
High time. High time we promote domestic industry. High time we appreciate our artists. Our Indian artists. They have such excellent appreciation in the foreign countries, and it's somewhat sad that these guys come from our country and we don't acknowledge the art, we don't acknowledge the copyright in it. But I think high time we do it. High time we. But I think the legislature here has to play a very important part. Legislature has to form laws that are manufacturer friendly, artist friendly.
So, what advice would you like to give to these local brands regarding branding and registering their trademark? Or...
Advice I would give is value it. A lot of times I come across clients who have excellent stuff that they can IPR, they can protect under the Copyright Act, Trademark Act, but they are just not willing to do it because somewhere they have a notion that this is not for us. This is maybe for larger corporates or organization, which is not true. Any large organization starts with small, and your first small steps are of crucial importance. So if you want to sustain in a longer run, it is important that you value and protect what is yours.
So, lastly, coming to the last question, what advice would you like to give to the students who are right now pursuing their law and who have graduated?
Okay. For people who are pursuing law, I keep telling this across to anybody I come across who's studying law. Please take up your internships very seriously. And please don't wait till your second year or the third year in your 5 year course to get there. No, please start as soon as possible, because what you see in your moot court rooms, what you see in your college, and what you see once you're out there is completely different. When I was studying law, somewhere I always thought, okay, I may do something with constitutional in the beginning of my years. But eventually, after my second year, when I was working, I realized I am not cut out for constitution. I will do way better with IPR. But this came to me after 6 to 8 months of internship. So I think you guys should start doing that. And for people who've graduated into law and are out there, be patient. Law is one field where you are appreciated and valued after a certain period of practice in the industry. So be patient, be persistent, and have faith in the industry.
So I guess everybody should listen to this piece of advice. Right.
Please do internships. I keep telling my students also, please do internships.
Right. And right now it's getting really difficult also for the students to find internship because of the COVID situation, because they can't physically go
I
and
know,
intern.
but
Right.
a lot of law firms are offering online internship programs.
Right.
I know you can't do much. I think it's mostly research, okay, but it still keeps you intact with the
Right.
industry, okay, and it keeps you active. Your brain is getting used to it. So the research part you're getting done with. Anyways, if you join a law firm, it's not that when you go for internship, they're going to give you a high profile case and tell you, please work on it.
Right.
That's not going to happen. So might as well start with the groundwork.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us today, for taking out time from your busy schedule. And we wish you all the best